Good morning.
Good morning.
We just spent yesterday in a day of silence, and we just wanted to share our conversation about it because we haven't processed it together yet, and so we wanted to share that experience with all of our viewers. And yeah,
Yeah, it was interesting. We 24 hours.
yeah,
24 hours, day of silence. No talking, no singing, no music. Total silence.
yep,
Yeah, and we were allowed to be in each other's presence if we wanted to, or not, and we were allowed to take walks and go to the beach, or kind of get out of the house, go in the pool, do those kind of things, but never talking.
which was fun. It was a great experience.
It was amazing.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
It was really
amazing.
awesome.
So we haven't processed it together. We just finished our morning devotional practice, and our first words that we were able to say to each other this morning were Om Namah Shivaya, that we did 108 times with our malas in prayer. And so now here we come after devotion to share with each other about what our day of silence was like with each other. We're letting you in. You're
Yeah.
welcome.
So for me, it was really interesting to get to in the silence. I got to admire all the aspects of you that I love. That was the first thing that came up when I was laying in the hammock and you were here just scribbling away whatever you were writing down. And so I just kind of wrote a really long list of all the things I love about you, which I wanted to share with you.
Okay.
If I can. So one of the things was I love the way you smile. I love the way you write and how you write and the things you say when you write. I love the way you speak. Just the way you speak with such wisdom and so much power, it just kind of reprograms me all the time, which is really great. I love when Guru speaks through you. I love the way you look at me with such devotion. It reminds me of how my grandma used to look at me. No one else has ever looked at me that way, and it means a lot. I love the way your beard feels between my fingers, the way it brushes up against mine, the way it brushes up against all my parts, wink wink. I love the way you pray. I love the way you worship. I love it when you sing. And I got to miss your singing yesterday, so that was really nice. There's something special about missing something about somebody, even if it's just for a few hours. The absence really gives me an opportunity to want to draw you closer because I miss you. And so even in that moment where we separated for a moment, I was on the hammock and you were in the bedroom for an hour or something, that was really powerful because it gave me the chance to be the one to come to you instead of you were the one coming to me. And I like being able to express my love as saying, hey, I miss you, come closer to me. And the absence gives me the chance to express my love that way, which is really special. I love it when you dance. It's really beautiful. You guys got to see it sometime. I love it when you tend the fire. The fire is an extension of you, so I love it when I get to tend the fire for you. I love it when you're frustrated. I love that part. I love your teenager. I love your child. I love your young adult. I love all the pieces inside of you. I love the way you remind me that I'm sovereign. I love that you support me in my becoming, that you believe in me, and in all the things that I'm working on, when we get to work on them together. I love your amazing, beautiful brain. I love the temple you embody, and I love the shared temple of our devotion to Shiva, to the Devis, and to each other. Om Namah Shivaya. Love you. Navadea.
Wow, yeah, it was going into it for me, I was not happy.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck this.
You can totally tell.
Oh my god. What are we doing? Day of silence.
Mm-hmm.
But after the incredible weekend that we shared, I did agree, that from the direction from the guru that it was needed to integrate everything that had occurred and happened. And I knew it was important, but I've never done it. And so I was a little scared of, what it would be like. It's interesting because in my active addiction, I would sit in silence sometimes for days, hearing noises halfway down the street. You know what I mean? And so it was like a little triggering to be in that kind of silence.
Mm-hmm. Same thing happened to me too.
Yeah, but I didn't hear they weren't delusional thoughts, right? It was I was just really tuned in. I would hear mantras and hear the breath and hear the roosters, and we have lots of roosters here, you guys, crazy. And but it was really beautiful, opening the day of silence with prayer and our normal devotion that we do with Kundalini yoga, and then an invocation for the day of silence, and kind of setting the boundaries for the day of silence was important because I need rules, and sometimes rules are important. And we had divine direction for how it was supposed to go, and I just thought about the weekend, and I started writing about everything that we experienced in ceremony the night before, and what that was like for me. And I just watched you, and you began painting, and I felt so much love for you. Even I didn't even know that I could feel more love for you, but after yesterday, just watching you be, right, paint and think and surrender, and we were also doing fast, so we were also hungry, and so we were kind of watching each other kind of go through that, and get through that was really cool. And watching you read and take everything in, wisdom, and lay there in the hammock, and being able to be in your presence, but not necessarily be touching. Because there were moments where we touched for sure, but there were also moments where we were totally separated, but it was there was no separation. And I felt you looking at me, and I just felt so loved. I felt so admired and desired and appreciated and respected with reverence. And I hope that you felt the same for me. Because I was watching you even when you didn't know it. And so it was really beautiful to be able to just witness your sovereignty, witness your beauty, your wisdom, your aura, your vibration, and to tune in to your thoughts, to speak to you in the astral, right? It was I needed to say something or ask you, and you're we just were communicating when we needed to, right?
Well, yeah, because it was weird, because I got up to walk into the house to go get a book, and you came out with the book at the exact same time I was walking into the house to get the book, and so it was we were definitely communicating in the astral. Because we met, I picked up, we met halfway down the hall, I grabbed the book, I went back to my hammock and went back to the bedroom. Without ever having to say anything. Yeah. That was funny. Because I was out here, I was I've read Guru Mahi's book through the hunger part, which is what I was dealing with. I wanted to save the rest for later. Yeah. And so I was okay, well, now what am I going to do? And so I got up to walk into the bedroom, and you met me halfway down the hall before I even had a chance to go get the book. So that was cool.
Yeah, it was interesting, the kind of progression of the day. That's a long time to do silence. It's a long time.
And but what was really powerful for me is I'm really glad that we fasted at the same time, because we hold a lot of our trauma in our stomach. And so what happened for me when we took a nap, I was having all these visions of not traumatic events, but fears that I still had that were deep down in my stomach. And so I got to like do the work on those fears. Like even the medicine hadn't brought those fears out yet. I don't remember the details of the dream. I just remember how I felt. And so in the visions I had when we were napping, like I was able to like deal with some stuff because like a lot of those traumas are buried under the process of digestion. And so through the fast, it was cool because I kept feeling lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter throughout the day.
Yeah.
Like, and by the time like the hunger dissipated, like I just feel like even right now I just feel super light.
Yeah.
Like I don't feel bogged down. I don't feel tired. I don't even feel hungry right now.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just like I feel flowy and like I
Lighter,
feel
right?
yeah, so much lighter. And it's great because without the body spending all that energy in digestion, I think there's a rooster in the tree.
That makes sense.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
There's a rooster in the tree.
Rooster, yeah.
He wants to make sure that he's being heard. We hear you.
Yeah.
Om Namah Shivaya. But without like the body busy in digestion, it gives the body a chance to take a break and to relax.
Yeah.
And to tune in all the way with the vibration. So
Yeah.
how was the fast for you?
It was hard in the morning, and then it got easier.
Yeah, throughout
the day. Yeah, I was by last night. I was fine. I was like, I think maybe tomorrow morning I'll wake up and tell Aeon we need to go 2 more days. And then I was like, no, yeah, I'm ready to make some ceviche.
Right.
Absolutely.
we got to make it now so that it doesn't go bad. We got to
Put it in the freezer.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So, and then like I crawled into the hammock with you, and that was like so magical. To be able to just lay there with you, and like I was like rubbing my fingers on your body and touching your beard and your chest hairs and just admiring like every little millimeter of you.
You know, and also what was interesting is like, and knowing, it was weird because knowing that there was a barrier to us being intimate, like in that moment from being silent, made me want to be intimate even more, and so that like led to intimacy, which was really cool, and I enjoyed that. So yeah,
As silent as possible.
yeah, yeah.
That's really beautiful.
Yeah, it was.
It was to feel so merged and so one. Without needing the words, just knowing how to be. That was really special.
And also, one of the cool things is when reading Guru Mai's book, The Yoga of Discipline, and reading the 2 chapters on hunger while we were fasting was really powerful.
Yeah.
She talks about how when we eating with intention and with awareness, and recognizing that all the food that we're taking in is God. It is manna. It is divine. It is life force energy.
Yeah.
And not eating to the point that we're full, but leaving space in the stomach for digestion or for the fire. Not putting the fire out with putting too much food in our belly.
Yeah.
And that like if you find yourself hungry 2 hours after eating, that is really just to check in with that, because that's really just hunger to know God. And that there should always be a low level of hunger that we're experiencing, because that hunger is our devotion. It is the fire to know God deeper. And so, not putting that desire to know God out by over digestion, by putting too much food in our belly.
Yeah.
And what's so interesting is my entire life, I thought I was struggling with, overconsumption of food, but I'm always hungry all the time. And so now I have a whole new understanding of what that baseline hunger actually is. It's always been my drive to know God that I've had my entire life. And so I have a whole new respect for that hunger, and now I recognize that ever since I was born, I was born to know God, and to have that innate desire to grow closer to my relationship with the divine.
Yeah.
And so that was really powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To know you.
Yeah.
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 Capital S self you.
Yep. Shiva, Soham Shiva. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So what did you do? You painted?
I painted. Oh yeah.
You want to show us what you painted?
Yeah, it's not done yet, but I wanted to talk about it because it kind of leads into our mushroom ceremony. So, when we had that moment, we were laying there during our mushroom ceremony on Saturday, And we were going through that process of letting go of attachments to other people, letting go of attachment to creation. So I had this moment where I realized that, like, as divine beings, we create these creations, such as this experience, and then we let it go. We detach from it and allow it to go through its process of unfolding, of blooming, of blossoming. And like being a human being, we literally are like the flower of divinity. You know, like the flowers in the plant world are the enlightened beings of the plant world. And as human beings, we are the enlightened beings of creation. And so in the painting, if you look closely, there were two of us in my vision, and we were birthing these bubbles of creation from our third eyes, like intertwining together. And we were letting them go.
Wow.
And so there are all these creations that we've created sitting on top of the mountain. Now I put us on top. For me, the mountain is actually like this infinite plateau. That literally goes on in every direction forever. And so, because there is, in my spirit's mind eye, there is no mountain because all things are equal. And so it's recognizing in humility that, like, I am no greater or lesser than anything because I am all things. And so in the painting, and then in here you see like the divine design of creation. And so each one of these lines represents a human lifetime. From beginning to end. And it's and then when you zoom out, you see all human lifetimes where they intersect, where they meet each other, how they evolve in color, and because we transform, in color as we evolve as spiritual beings, just like flowers transform in color as they bloom and then evolve with the sun and then blossom completely. But then although it looks like in our human incarnation that there's a beginning and an end, but it all exists in a static experience of time. And what I call these structures are aeonic structures. The reason being is because an aeon is an infinite amount of time, or an innumerable amount of time, and contained in each one of these creations is an infinite, or it's an impossibly immeasurable amount of time, but yet it's static at the same time. And so it's not done yet, but I'll show it to y'all when it's done.
It's so beautiful.
So that's what I saw in that moment when we were laying there.
During the mushroom ceremony?
Yeah, during the mushroom ceremony.
Wow, okay. Which we'll talk about in another video, right? It was beautiful watching your mind work and your heart and your soul, like tuning all in. I was like over here and you were over there, and this is the first time, like that I've seen you paint ever. And so it was really special because I felt so much love knowing that you were painting with the paint gifts and brushes and everything that I brought from Texas for you. And I just felt like oh, this is so cool. It was so neat to see you carefully choose the brush and look at it and examine it and put the paints out. And he paints in oils, which is fascinating. I do not know how to paint. Well, I do paint, but oftentimes it turns out black because I use so many colors all at once. And I don't have a lot of patience painting, which maybe I would these days, but because if you're painting with acrylic and you just put it on there, it just turns like more will be revealed. We'll come back to you with like some Christopher Shaw paintings, in the future. But in the meantime, we have our resident artist here, and it's so beautiful. Oh, look at the faces from here. Oh, it's so cool.
It's evolving.
It's totally evolving, and what else yesterday? Like, let's see, for me, I wrote a lot. I had to get everything out of my head because I knew that if I didn't get like my to-do lists out of my head, because I have like a million things to do this week, and like I think there are 8 pages of to-do lists. And there's like a to-do list for Merkaba retreats, to-do list for the church, a to-do list for us, to-do list for the house, to-do list for, it's like, so like we have a lot to go over during our family business meeting. We do a family business meeting every morning where we talk about our things that we have to do for the day and for the week. Since we do run, I don't know if that's the right word, a lot of family businesses we serve together, and so we have, as we serve together in a lot of different areas, we have a lot of things to do, and so we'll go over those after this, later after your
meeting.
Yep, and so I did that, and like also like I felt like so clear, it was like the fasting really helped me to like really have a lot of clarity, and so I just like I mean I've always been the kind of person that just like the ideas just kind of like flow, but yesterday they were like boom, it was so clear, and so I was writing out like all these ideas and all these things that how we can serve better, and so I did all that. That was great to get all of that out, and then seeing like kind of the vision of tomorrow and the future and what that holds and how we need to kind of get there, and being in tune with the guru and the guidance from spirit to like just like allow it to like come through my pen, right? And I wrote, the first thing I did yesterday when we started was I journaled all about our ceremony and what that was like for me, and I'll have to come back to that another day. It's so incredibly special, so incredibly grateful, for that night, for this whole entire weekend. And so I think that it really like was important to integrate and to close up the weekend. And I thought like when I first thought of doing a day of silence, I thought, well, I don't want to be like alone all day. And then I thought, well, we're not. Like we can be together even if we're in separate rooms, because we're so connected that physical separation is just an illusion, right? So touch is important, and like we are human, and so we do. I think it is important, but it's not necessarily needed like all day. I didn't need to be like touching you, And there was points during the day where I could sense that you were like, go away. Even at the beach, like when we walked onto the beach, like you were like, okay, I'll go. Okay, let's go to the beach. And so we went to the beach, and we were reading, sitting at the beach, and we found like the shade underneath this lifeguard sand because it was kind of hot. But the beaches are totally gorgeous here, and they're empty because it's off season. And so it was like we had like a private beach. Like there was nobody on the beach yesterday, and it was so gorgeous. And we went into the water, but there was he was in the water, and he was like, "Can you like go back to the shore, because I really want to be in the water by myself." I was like, I could hear his thoughts, right? So I'm like, I'll go up. So I went up and let him kind of have this moment, because he likes to have his moments, and so do I. I think that having your space and giving you your space is really special, and I'm tuning more into when you need that, and you're getting a lot better when we use words of saying, hey, I need. But yesterday we had no words, and so it was like I tuned into it a number of times. There was a number of times where you were like, even when you like got your phone out to look at the instructions, and then you wrote on the paper, and it was a little passive aggressive, but like it was like, I'm gonna write out the schedule from our guides here, and it says like alone time and really big, right? And like underlines underneath it or something. I'm like, bro, like I freaking got it. Like you need some alone time. And then I had like a little bit of a fit.
Yeah, the teenager came out.
Dude, I was like, because I misunderstood, like I was trying to, I guess, read between the lines, and like I was like, and then I wrote on the paper, I was like, I do not, because he had like hours, like, and it was like, said something like, I don't know,
6 to 12.
6 to 12, and I was like, I was just really confused. I don't know if that was like 6 p.m., 6 a.m., 12 p.m., 6. I just was like,
it was hour 6 to hour 12.
It was from of the day of silence. It was from hour 6 to hour 12, right?
Yeah.
And because we were like prescribed like certain things that we could do during those hours, and like during this particular block, it said like, if you want, you can. But it's not required. But if you want, you can have some alone time. Like go in separate rooms, go take a walk by yourself, do certain things. I mean, we were doing really great, like being in each other's presence and not speaking and being alone. It was like, because he was in the hammock and I was like over here. I would go inside. We were allowed to do chores with reverence, and so I would do laundry, and dishes and clean stuff and do, certain things, and you were outside, so it wasn't like I was like on top of you all
Right,
day.
right.
And when that was kind of fun. But anyway, that's another story. So, it was like, in that moment, I wrote, I was like, I do not want to be alone for 6 hours.
And I was like, underline some alone time.
Some alone time, which I did not see. I was like, you want to be alone for 6 hours? No. I'm not playing this game anymore. I'm done. And I took the pad and I slammed it on the ground and I walked inside and I shut the door.
I heard the door shut.
Kind of hard. It wasn't like a slam because I really don't slam anymore, but it was loud enough to make a statement.
And I laid in the hammock and held compassionate, loving space for what you were experiencing.
Yeah.
Long enough to miss you, and then I came in and we took a nap.
Yeah, that was special. And I got a lot done, when I was in the bedroom by myself. So it was I was able to just surrender. It was all about surrender, right? It was allowing myself to feel what I needed to feel, because my feelings are valid and they are important, but I don't have to attach myself to them and become them. I can just allow them to pass through me. And so I just allowed them to pass through me, and it doesn't really matter why I was frustrated, because there were probably a number of reasons. But I allowed it just to kind of pass through me, and then I was like, this is just stupid human shit. It's what I call stupid human shit.
Yeah.
It's I don't need to get caught up in all of this.
Right.
Just go be by yourself. He's I don't know.
20 feet away.
20 feet away. It's all good. And so I was, and I was by myself, and I read, and I journaled, and I wrote, and I did all these to-do lists, and I just got really organized, and then sure enough, there was a knock at the door. And he came in, and we held each other and slept for a while.
Yeah.
I had weird dreams too, though.
Yeah.
Really weird dreams. During my dream, I tuned into us in another timeline.
Yeah. That's what happened to me too.
And we're arguing.
Yeah, same thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's what I was talking about, whatever trauma experience from past relationships or something, because it was this. I had the exact same experience.
Okay. So we were. Whoa. I wonder if we were tuning into the same timeline.
Right.
Really arguing, and you were like, and I was like, and it was it wasn't horrible, in past relationships, but it was enough to really disturb me.
Yeah.
And it disturbed me so much that when I kind of opened my eyes and came to, I was like, oh, thank God.
I remember we lived in a high-rise in New York in my dream.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know where we were, but it was interesting, and I took a moment and I took a deep breath in, and I
let it go.
And I breathed into them. I breathed into them the vibration that we are in this timeline, because I don't think they were yet there. I don't think they had yet arrived to the vibration that we share in this timeline, because I kind of felt like they still had some kind of lower vibrational communication and just arguing about dumb stuff, and and so I just decided to give them and share with them what we have. And so I took a moment to just tune into them and love them and have compassion for where they are in their timeline, and kind of elevate them, because I think that I don't know how many timelines are happening at once, probably a lot.
Infinite.
And so there's different things happening. So our relationship looks different in the different timelines,
right.
And but I do know that
they all converge on this
really
one.
helpful if we're all raising ourselves to the highest vibration,
And I think for other couples out there watching this, that it's a really beautiful thing to take, especially if maybe you're struggling with something, or you're struggling with even communicating clearly with your partner, just taking 24 hours of silence together in the same space. Because what happens is you start to realize what's really important to share and what's really not that important to share, what's yours and what's not yours. And and then you start to you want to be closer with the person that you're with instead of, because oftentimes we use our words to put up walls when it's and blame other people for what we're struggling with when it's ours, and so that I think would be a really great prescription for people who are in relationships currently who may be on a rocky footing, is just to take time sitting in silence with each other for 24 hours. And it was really beautiful because in the evening we did a hatha yoga practice and we didn't even have to say anything.
Yeah.
And so we were in flow together and we kind of just knew intuitively what we were doing in any moment in time. And it was all flow, and we allowed the water of emotion to flow through us and just to kind of be present with each other. And so if you're in a relationship and you're struggling and it may be difficult, it's really worth taking some time just to be quiet with each other. Not everything has to be said.
Yeah, and I think having I think this is something that we could do every so often. I don't know about once a month, but maybe once a quarter or something,
Right.
something like that. But I think integration is key, and like being able to spend some shared time alone and even some alone time alone is important. And like you can do that holding space for the other person, like from another room or even from the same room, right? And it's beautiful to be able to just watch the person that you love and to just like see things that maybe you haven't noticed before, like the faces they make. Like he does this weird thing with his mouth, like it's so interesting. I'll have to show you a picture, but like, yeah. It's so cute, like when he's like in deep thought, I'm like, yeah, just like little things like that you kind of miss if you're not really paying attention. And
To be witnessed.
Yeah, it was
with loving compassion.
It was really beautiful. Anyway, I love you.
I love you.
Avadaya.
Avadaya. Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned.